Elias Kane rows steadily through the turquoise waves of the Pacific. He's driven by a sacred purpose, one he believes comes from a higher power. As the shoreline comes into view, he hears them, voices raised in a tongue he can't decipher. Their shouts echo over the water, sharp and unfamiliar. He strains to catch the rhythm of their words. In a gesture of goodwill, he mimics their sounds, hoping to bridge the gap. Laughter erupts from the shore. Two figures wade toward him. Elias tosses offerings, blankets tied to heavy fish, into the shallows. Then he begins to hum a hymn from his faith. For a brief moment, the figures freeze, watching. But his canoe grazes jagged rocks, forcing him to step into the water. The figures draw closer. Suddenly, a young boy notches an arrow, draws his bow, and fires. Elias has ventured into a forbidden realm, a place untouched by time. Outsiders are not welcome here. Solara Island is among the most isolated places on Earth, home to a people who've lived apart from the world for millennia. Their language, their numbers, even their name for themselves, remain mysteries. Over time, attempts at contact have led to mistrust, conflict, and tragedy. Online Solara is a myth, fueled by wild rumors, viral posts, and speculation. The truth, though, is far more complex. A story of curious travelers, fervent missionaries, colonial greed, wounded communities, and a dangerous fascination with the unknown. The internet loves Solara Island. Some claim it hides a secret military base. Others say it's a place where anyone who steps foot is doomed. You'll find Solara-themed t-shirts, social media fan pages, and fake travel reviews. Above all, it's infamous for its peril. In February 2025, an American vlogger set foot on Solara. He recorded himself trying to connect with the islanders, leaving a can of soda as a gesture of peace. Contact never happened. Instead, he was detained. Local authorities are now probing his illegal entry into the restricted zone, and he faces up to 5 years behind bars. In an age where a phone or laptop can connect us to anyone, anywhere, Solara remains a mystery. It's one of the last truly uncharted places on our planet. Solara has become a digital legend. But to understand it, we must travel back, far back, to the last ice age. Early humans left their African homeland, a migration thought to have occurred between 50,000 and 70,000 years ago. They moved east across Asia, seeking better climates, food, and land. The world was different then. Vast ice sheets blanketed parts of the globe, locking water away and lowering sea levels. Land bridges connected islands now separated by ocean. These early wanderers trekked across vanished landscapes or paddled simple rafts between islands. Their journey led them to what we now call the Solara Archipelago, nestled in the Pacific. As millennia passed, glaciers melted and seas rose, isolating their descendants on a single island, roughly the size of a small city. The origins of Solara's people are still a puzzle. No DNA has been collected from them, but studies of nearby island tribes offer clues. The Vara and Tila tribes, thought to be distant kin, carry unique genetic markers not found in mainland populations. These markers suggest their ancestors diverged from other humans 30,000 to 45,000 years ago. Solara's people may be among the most genetically distinct on Earth, making them uniquely vulnerable. This is Elias, 2 years before his journey to Solara. He's 25, raised in a devout household, educated at a religious school like his parents. He's passionate about nature and his faith. Missionary work captivates him, though his family, also religious, doesn't share his fervor, especially his mother. Yet Elias dives deep into his beliefs, scouring a missionary database called Outreach Path. One entry catches his eye: Solara It reads, "The Solara people need to hear of a loving creator who offers redemption." Little is known about them, perhaps 50 to 150 people, speaking an unknown language, living in tight-knit clusters of hand-built shelters. In the forest, they hunt small game. Along the coast, they fish. They gather fruits and wild honey. Taller and stronger than neighboring tribes, they survived a devastating tsunami in 2005, likely due to ancestral knowledge passed down through generations. Strangest of all, explorers once found a carved wooden grid in a Solara village, 36 squares, in a pattern resembling a game board. Did they create it, or did it drift ashore? No one knows. No nearby tribe has shown such craftsmanship. Elias has been fixated on Solara for years. The missionary site urges prayer. Ask that the local government allows outreach to build trust with the Solara people. Pray for open hearts to receive the message. Elias feels called to be the first to share his faith with them. In a journal he writes, "I am chosen to bring light to the Solara people, to share the truth before I was even born." But the Solara have no interest in outsiders. Their history with intruders is grim. It's 1875. A Solara family moves through the forest when unfamiliar voices break the silence. For weeks, strangers have prowled their island, armed and searching. Days ago, the Solara fled their village to avoid them. Now, they meet. The family's elder grabs a spear to protect his kin. The intruders, led by a young colonial officer named Victor Hensley, surround them. Hensley, 22, oversees the Solara archipelago under imperial rule. Fascinated by its tribes, he studies their customs, foods, and crafts, documenting everything in journals. He poses locals for photographs in staged, unnatural scenes, calling them exotic. His goal is Solara, the archipelago's last enigma. He's tried and failed to reach them before. Now he has a plan. As the elder raises his spear, an intruder tackles him. The family is overpowered and taken to Hensley's ship, where 2 Solara children are already held. In the colonial capital, Hensley keeps them for study. Within days, the elder and another adult fall ill, likely from foreign diseases their bodies can't fight. They die. The children, loaded with gifts, are sent back, possibly carrying the same diseases. No one knows their fate. Diseases remain a lethal threat to isolated tribes. A single virus could decimate them. Centuries ago, colonizers brought illnesses to distant lands, halving some populations. Nearby tribes like the Vara saw their numbers plummet from 700 in 1900 to barely 80 today. Hensley's actions, historians say, fueled the Solara's deep mistrust of outsiders. One wrote, "Hensley's obsession with conquest helped sow fear, contributing to the Solara's rejection of all foreigners." Elias stands blindfolded on a dusty trail in rural Oregon. Left alone, he stumbles toward a mock village in the woods, populated by actors posing as a hostile tribe. This is part of his training with Mission Forge, a group preparing people like Elias for outreach. In this exercise, he must share his faith with a tribe that threatens him with fake weapons and nonsense speech. To Elias, it's preparation for Solara, where he knows the risks, possibly his life. In 1976, a documentary crew tried to film the Solara. From afar, the islanders waved them off, firing arrows. In 1983, a freighter wrecked on Solara's reefs during a storm. The crew, initially relieved, soon radioed for help. Armed islanders, About 60 building rafts. They may attack at night. Our safety is not assured. Rescue attempts failed due to the storm, but the crew fended off the islanders with makeshift weapons until a helicopter saved them. Still, Elias is undeterred. To him, Solara is a spiritual battleground, and he's its champion. I may not survive tomorrow, he writes, but I'm grateful for this calling. Now an arrow flies toward Elias. It grazes his book of scriptures, leaving him unharmed, or so he claims in his journal. The Solara chase him into the sea. Panicked, he swims to a waiting boat. Crewed by local fishers, he paid $300 to ferry him from the archipelago's main port. His gear, a waterproof case with clothes, a medical kit, and his ID, is lost in the chaos. He'd hidden another case on the island earlier, which may still be there. Without his ID, leaving is complicated, but Elias sees it as a sign to stay. The Solara, though, have made their stance clear. He's not wanted. Yet he resolves to try again. You might think I'm foolish, he writes, but it's worth it to share my faith. If I die, don't blame them or the divine. Leave my body for his glory. Elias Kane. The next morning, February 17, 2019, Elias takes the pierced book as a sign. He tells the fishers to leave, strips to his shorts to seem non-threatening, and swims to shore. No records detail what happens next. A day later, the fishers return. They see Solara islanders dragging Elias's lifeless body across the beach. No words, no compromise. He crossed a boundary he shouldn't have. Elias Kane's death in 2019 sparked global headlines. Some called him reckless, others a zealot. His mother, also religious, blamed extreme missionary groups, writing, "Fanaticism took my son." The group that trained him called him a hero, stating, sharing faith often demands sacrifice. Decades ago, researchers briefly made peaceful contact with the Solara after years of effort. But they later advocated for the island's protection, citing health risks. Since the late 1990s, Solara has been off limits. No visits, no gifts, no studies. To us, that's right. The Solara never asked for outsiders.